there's something about black trauma which I don't know how to explain it, which is adored. And I don't know how to explain it. Even slavery films, when you think about how much more slavery films do we need? We're talking at barbershops here. Have any of you watched Top Boy?
Yes.
Do you notice that? Was there any barbershop scenes in Top Boy?
Nope. No. Not one.
Do you know what?
Surprising.
You know.
You have a black program and no barbershop.
But
There was not one barbershop scene.
But flowers, yeah. I want to give flowers to some people for Top Boy. Obviously, from where it started to where it's come now, amazing. I think Kano, unlocked a whole new level.
Different level.
You see the trauma that that Sully has been through as a character.
Yeah.
His ability to carry that with him throughout the season.
He probably looks like sad eyes when you
Bro,
see him. Yeah.
Man's just where he's sitting alone on the boat, feeding a fox. Like, this guy is really letting us know that he's been through it. Little Sims as well, got to give her flowers. Like, the depth of character. You see my man, what's his name? It's just gone out of my head. What's my man from Liverpool? What's his name?
Curtis.
Hey, listen.
Curtis.
Him as well, yeah?
Curtis was a sicko still.
Bro.
A real sicko.
I think
that's called obsession.
Three,
but you know there's people who are in relationships like that.
Yeah,
and they can't leave their man.
They can't leave their man. 100%. You know how scary that is?
Yep.
100%.
He travelled all the way from Liverpool to London and was hunting.
I enjoyed that theme though, because that theme showed what it's like when women try to leave these situations.
Yeah.
A lot of them, we say, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave? Women are at their most dangerous part in that scenario when they're trying to leave.
Yeah.
And you touched on something in saying that you enjoyed that scene. There's a lot of things.
I'm not enjoyed it like I was.
No, I know. Wait,
like
it's Curtis.
Like in the sense of you enjoyed the fact that there are discussions that will be provoked from so many scenes in Top Boy. Like, obviously, if we go back, there's the discussion about obviously going crunch and that, and then like when Axe went missing.
Axe went missing, boy.
And you see like how Steph is moving and how Aaron's moving, and like Aaron is staying away from Jamie because he wants to get a first-class degree, and these are all like. Some people will watch these programs, watch a program like Top Boy and be like, wow, like this is a bit far-fetched, come on. But the reality,
a lot of stuff that happened in it was a bit mad.
It's so real. You see, like, is
it no ring bell? Just open the door. Just people come to your house.
What's my girl's name that Steph is with? Is it Tia?
I can't remember the names.
And she lives in a house with her two sisters, I think.
My memory is the worst. I can't even remember.
But you know who I can't remember her name. But like she's at home alone. She don't know where her mum is. And she's just watching her two sisters.
Yeah.
And people don't realise that stuff like that is really happening. Yeah. And I think a major scene for the man them who might be doing extracurricular activities is, you see when I'm forgetting his name, Ruben.
Yeah.
You see when Duchesne's saying to Ruben like, "Rah, are you okay, bro? Like, are you sure you're not under obo?" Yeah. And he's like, I do security systems. Like, if these men were coming for me, I'd know. These times they've been watching him for 6 months. But a lot of people, I think there were so many topics within Top Boy that were not like the main story, but they were they went off on tangents that so many people can explore, and things that you can extract from it that were not necessarily main topics of discussion.
Aaron, are you tired of the hood narrative? Because I've seen a lot of people once again complaining that it's another hood film. Yeah. Now, what area was you raised in?
All around South London.
Okay, so would you say you grew amongst this sort of stuff? What you've witnessed maybe in Blue Story or similar films?
I mean, for me, like my family, I grew up around the whole South. So I have family in Plumstead and Woolwich, family in Peckham, family in Lewisham. So the whole of the Blue Borough.
Southeast. Southeast. That's you, and you said Blue Borough, so it's very valid what I'm about to ask. So do you have family that are enemies?
No, I don't have family that are enemies, and that's why.
Not your. Just to be clear, not that you're beefing them, but they're beefing each other.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. So so I had family that grew up in all different ends. Yeah, I went to school in Bromley, so I was able to see all different all different walks of life. Do you know what I mean? So I've seen where, not necessarily my family, but my cousin's people or like my brother's people might have issues with each other. Do you know what I mean? And might end up in situations. So there's been plenty of kind of very technical situations over the years. For me, growing up in Bromley and having family in all of these ends, I had a different perspective. So when I was going to school, at the time, it's different now, it's more diverse now, but at the time, it was a lot of white people at my school. There was a very small crew of black people and we just all clicked together, do you know what I mean? So when I was out of school and I'm going to go and check my brother in Peckham, and he's saying, there's issues with ghetto. And I'm like, what do you mean ghetto? He's like, Lewisham. And I'm like, bruv, that's like 6 bus stops away from each other. What are we talking about? Do you know what I mean? And all of these kind of postcode things, I'm just like, bruv, do you know, I've just been dealing with all of these racist people at school that wanna attack me because I'm black. And now I'm on my ends with my people and we're fighting over
where I live,
over like 5 mile radius. It just never made sense to me personally. So as much as I was around it and my people were around it, I always tried to not get too involved in it too much because it just didn't make logical sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Like basically that was it.
So when you see things like Top Boy, I mean there's been other similar films or shows like it, would you say that are you tired of the narrative of watching these things on the screen, or would you say that it's a story that needs to be told? And in general, lads, are we tired of this, or are we saying that it's a story that needs to be told? So, what's the problem? Or would you say it's enough now?
My personal opinion, I think that it's a little bit of both, because there's a part of you that relates to it, because like you know you've had similar experiences, and it's like wow, like my experience is the experience of others, but then at the same time, it's like I've seen this story a few times, you know what I mean? Like the same story told in different ways. So it's like, I think that there's a part of me that's like, you know what, I respect it for the culture, for the fact that we've got our stories told on the big screen is a huge deal, do you know what I mean? And I commend and respect that. And I think that, say like if we look at the US, the directors and the storytellers in the US, a few years ago you had Boys in the Hood and all of the kind of hood movies,
New Jack City,
and now we're kind of transcending into telling more stories. We've got like Get Out and like all of these kind of more abstract stories. I would like to see us now start to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, now start to tell all different types of stories.
Whose job is that? Because what I tell you my issue is this. I've done a bit of research. So the last kind of major hood film we've had in the cinema was Blue Story. Okay, the budget was 1.3 million. They did 1.3 million in the first week. Okay, bearing in mind that a lot of their cinemas got shut down because of the issues that happened. Okay, so that's 1.3.
The issues were capped.
Yeah. So let's just put that numbers out there.
So
now, go on.
So can we just say with that, it did 1.3 million in the first week. With all the opposition, because there have been far worse films, of course, that haven't received the opposition. I just wanted to
1.3 million budget, 1.3 million done in the first week. Okay, the next film that we had after that was Boxing Day. Okay, I don't know if any of you watched that film Boxing Day with Mike Amin, I think his name is. I don't know okay, and it had the lady from Little Mix in there. So the budget for that was 3 million. First week it done 250k in the first week. Okay, now Boxing Day is one thing that we've always said we wanted in the black community, which is a love story. Okay, which we've also said we wanted. Okay, Little Mix is a big name. Okay, so so is Michael Amin is known in the.
His name is Emil.
So is it Emil?
Emil.
Okay, sorry, I keep butchering his name, but yeah. Now these are two prominent figures. One's obviously a musician, but she's very well known. This came out in the cinema. One could argue that it came out probably at a bad time in December, during when we was doing the whole COVID thing. However, 250,000 was a sales in the first week. This is something that we've claimed that we've wanted. Okay, we've claimed that we wanted it. It's out there. We know it's in the cinema.
Why is it not received the response
now,
that it
one could argue there are many factors, but I always say, let's put our money where our mouths are. Because we've claimed that we want a market share in this. We haven't gone to see it. You know. Now the demographic for those who go to the cinema is between 15 and 24. That is the average age when I checked on statistics. So that is the target group. Now the question is what do we feel 15 and 24-year-olds want to watch in the cinema?
Good films.
Okay. Second is this Pirates was another thing that came out in the cinema. Okay, which was done by Reggie Yates. That done 50,000 sales in the first week. and had a budget of, let me just get it, I'm sure it was something to do with $1 million. The budget for that was 1.1 million.
Pirates, what is it about?
That was basically going about the whole garage scene. It was mainly based around Mega Man or So Solid. It's on Netflix now.
Okay, right. So
I ain't even heard about it. How about it?
this is what that was going to be my immediate.
So the
response.
marketing
Was the marketing didn't hit because I haven't heard about it.
But-
And
But let's go back to though
no,
to
but
Boxing Day.
I have to answer. I have to extend on that because if it was based on So Solid and that era, then they need to have pushed the marketing heavy on us.
Yeah.
Because me personally,
I didn't hear
obviously,
about it.
I grew up with that. But I would love to watch that.
But you didn't hear about it.
I didn't.
No,
hear
we
about
didn't
it.
You didn't hear about. You didn't hear about.
No.
Did you hear about Boxing Day?
Yeah.
Did you hear about Boxing Day?
Yeah.
Did you? Now, be honest. Did you go and watch it?
Yes.
I don't watch chick flicks.
Okay, I know we're using this little small section here. but
No. So
I know you did, but yeah, I know we didn't do.
They don't. I think. But this is the thing. I think that
Where's the hairband when he went to watch it?
if we look at European directors, they have the ability to create films that don't hit. It's not a case of, okay, we made one romantic comedy and it didn't
work,
hit,
yeah.
so we're never going to make any more, and we're only going to stick to one thing. Do you know what I mean? They're allowed to
Straight to
try
fire
and
stick.
Do you know what I mean?
right. But sorry to cut
straight
you.
to fire stick.
There's obviously mitigating circumstances and contributing factors to add to all of these things. So number one, is, let's be honest, UK is the land of bad vibes, and we don't really support our own as much as we should, or as much as we claim to. For example,
I'm moving to America.
so for example, like John Boyega, Damson Idris, Erica Breffa,
Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya, Emil Amin.
The guy who's in All American, what's his name? I didn't even know it was the main character. Bro,
All these UK
Ezra
actors,
Sun-
all these UK
Bro,
actors
that
have to go to
blew-
America.
That
See when
blew
he
my
switched-
mind.
have you
'cause
seen when he switched the accent?
Bro, I was watching that for like a good 3-4 seasons.
And you had no
Then
idea?
I had no idea. Then one day
Brother,
he spoke. I was like,
It was
what,
on
what?
that show that Jeezy's missus is on.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I see the accent switch, I was like, it's impressive. Like I knew, but the point I'm making is this year, these are all people that started over here, and they were, I won't say unsuccessful because wholly they weren't unsuccessful, but they plateaued here, and then they had to go to America to get the flowers that they deserve, and it's like we don't want to support them here. But let me give you a prime example. Do you know Idris Elba was in Family Affairs?
I never really watched it, but I didn't know.
But no one cared, is my point. And he went to America and reinvented himself, and now all these girls are salivating, all these women
Bro,
across the world are salivating.
I remember
this man.
seeing The Wire in 2004.
Bruv, no one cared about that man,
But I didn't know what it was. Like, you know, like I was just out there just watching it on Bridgens.
But no one cared about them.
Then I came back, then no one had heard of it. And it wasn't out here. Then years later it came out here. Then I'm watching it. Then I was like, oh yeah, I remember the show. And I was telling my cousin that, yeah, when I was out there, like it was on TV. Then all of a sudden now, I'm here, Stringer Bell is English. I was like, huh? Like,
But, go on. But go on, carry on.
but you can see like all the films he's done over there, like all the Marvel films, Fast and Furious and all of this. If he stayed over here, no offense to our
No, but it's true.
no
It's
offense
true.
to our brothers who they've literally gone as far as EastEnders.
Cheers. Let me say.
That's
Let
about it.
me even build on that to say this, because he went to Fast and Furious, which is that hate it or love it, the franchise is doing amazingly well.
Yeah.
And I think the one
He's in DC as well, so he's in Marvel and DC.
Exactly.
But you usually just get people just one or the other, but he's in both.
But what was mad is he went into Fast and Furious as a villain,
Yeah.
and his name was Brixton.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't get more authentic than that as somebody from England. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what did English people do? We laughed at it.
But my thing though is that obviously I'm into business. All of us are into business in some sense. All of us are. You're an artist. You're doing personal training. You've got a product that you're selling. And I say to myself, there's something they call supply and demand. If these hood films were being put out and people wasn't watching them, I'm pretty sure anyone who's pumping money into this would stop at some point. Which clearly means that I hate the fact there's a fetishization for black trauma. And I think whether we like it or not, there is. Even when you look at music and you look at the songs which they push out, don't get me wrong, you do have conscious rap, But there's something about black trauma which I don't know how to explain it, which is adored. And I don't know how to explain it. Even slavery films. When you think about how much more slavery films do we need?
I swear, I even tweeted it recently where I was saying that someone was talking about artists like J. Cole, Griselda, Common, etc., etc. I said I could listen to Cole in drips and drabs, but mostly when he's on features, because for some reason when he's on features, he's different.
Yeah.
But I'm like, someone said, oh yeah, like Niza was saying, yeah, if you're playing, because I listen to a lot of Moneybagg Yo and all these guys, said, oh yeah, I can't listen to that. I said, if you jumped in my car and you switch over to one of these conscious guys, I said I might just open the door and kick you out in traffic and shut the door and keep on. Because when I'm in that zone, it's sad, but I need to listen to Moneybagg to hype myself before gym.
See, but I think
to
as
Gucci.
well, we need to realize that we are the consumers of the product. If we don't consume it, then certain people can't make money from it. Then it will change. So we have to acknowledge our position in the cog. Like we are part of that.
100%. And to build on that,
Yeah.
just to build on what you're saying, I feel like the story still has to be told. And no, hear me out.
But how many times and how many ways?
No, but hear me out. So I'll give you an example. Once upon a time, I went into a kebab shop. This is probably about 10 years ago. I was with Pete. Went into a kebab shop by Trinity. No, like we weren't on anything. Didn't have anything on us. There was just two black guys went to the kebab shop. A bully van pulls up, and 10 police officers come into the kebab shop. I don't recall a time feeling so nervous in my entire life in terms of like being in like proximity of authority like that. Like, and that's bearing in mind, like I've been arrested before and whatever, but the nervousness I felt in that minute, I've never felt anything like that. And I shouldn't have to feel like that. You see what I mean? Like I shouldn't, naturally, as a black man, if I see police, it's like I'm preparing myself for the eventuality.
And do you know what's funny is that literally this morning I was having a conversation in the group chat about whether black people should become police officers, and we was having a very similar conversation because literally all of us have had similar experiences, either with the police or just on the roads, like certain situations that you've had, and how would you have wanted that to be dealt with. So you've got half of the group chat that are like, no, never, we should never join the police, and then the other half are like, you know what, unless we are prepared to work our way into positions of power and influence where we can actually change things.
I hate it, but I have a question.
I had a police officer on it a few weeks ago, and
I was gonna even go
that
there,
was,
but
that was a clash.
But
even
just
a couple
before
people hit me up like, yeah, why have you got my man on your channel?
But just before we go there,
I was just like, with him on the channel, I was like, you could have learned a thing or two on how to deal with them when they approach you.
But I hear that. I hear that.
Down.
But what is being said here is that that's like, with respect to my man, I've forgotten his name, but with respect to him, that's like low level. And until you get higher up the chain and you can change, like I used to work, I say with stroke for the NHS, yeah, and let me tell you, like categorically, that is one of the most racist organizations I've ever experienced. Like it's disgusting, like terrible, down to from blood donation to in the actual hospital.
So we're not clapping for the NHS no more.
Like
I just want to know, could I take back my claps I gave was like.
Now let me
put it like this, yeah. So imagine the NHS. Imagine we all say, imagine that we all agree with the premise that the NHS is racist, fundamentally racist.
Facts.
So if we say, okay, the NHS is fundamentally racist, therefore black people shouldn't work in the NHS, what then happens is when your loved one is in need of care, they're in a racist system, and they're in a racist system and there's no one to take care of them because we already know how they're going to be treated. Whereas,
very valid point.
Whereas what I'm saying is that if we say, do you know what, we have to work our way into those positions so that when we have got a loved one who's in need of care and none of the other nurses are taking it seriously, there is a black person there that can give them that care. And that person, and that black person is going to start as a nurse or a low-level person, but they will eventually work their way up into position.
Do you know where
but if we don't make that first step to begin with, then things will never change, and it will always be a corrupt system.
Okay, so there's a NHS blood and transplant, which is the subsector I work for. Yeah, so NHS BT. There was a report that was published either last year or the year before about racism and sexism and a whole host of
isms and schisms.
Right. So you can read that report. It's do your Googles. It's out there. Yeah. But and even with, and I say it expands to even care. And to answer your question, rest in peace, Evan Smith. He was a victim of the system. He was he had sickle cell, and imagine, like, when you actually think about it, and this is somebody who had this experience because he was a black man. Imagine being in hospital and you have to call 999. He was on a ward and called 999. Now, no white person is ever gonna have to suffer that. You know what I mean? You're like, there are so many, and that's a whole nother discussion, because we can go into, like, why is it that a disease that is suffered by predominantly black people have to pay for their prescription, but if I'm a drug addict I can get my prescription free? It doesn't. There's so many disparities, and it's the problem is within the system is you hit a brick. You hit a brick wall.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I
Sis
saw
QC
that.
or something. She became the seventh black QC in the UK. Now look at a situation like Child Q. The issue, the reason why things like that are even allowed to happen is because certain people know that they have the badge and they're in a position of power and they can abuse that power without accountability. Now imagine if those officers who did that have to go for their hearing or their trial or whatever, and they're sat in front of Jammer's sister, a black face. Do you know what I mean? If they understand that there are people in positions of power that they will have to sit in front of and be held accountable to these people, they'll be disincentivized to do the action in the first place. Do you know what I mean? So it's very important that we have people in these positions that are able. It's about accountability. If there's no accountability, people will run riot.
Hope you liked this. Lock Sundays each and every Sunday. We got Summer of Love, the warm-up party. My channel is mostly guys. There's like 70% of you. You lot that are single and complain, I have no babes. If you don't come to Summer of Love, you're going to be in the comments complaining, oh my god, there was so much fine girls, I'm coming to the next one. Remember, since COVID, tomorrow's not promised, innit? So make sure you come today. Tune to the next episode.
Hi, my name is Sharif. I'm a customer of Aaron Wallace. Aaron Wallace works for me. It works perfectly well. There's no if, buts or maybes about it. Other products dry out my beard, my hair. Aaron Wallace just makes me feel like a new man. It inspires me with confidence when I step out. My favorite product at the moment would be the Aaron Wallace lotion, effectively because of the smell that it gives off. My wife loves it, my son loves it. I use it for his hair as well. So that's definitely a product that I would recommend. Being a pro-black person myself, it's important that I find it very important that our money goes to our people and it circulates in our community. We need to stop giving our money to the system. So what I would tell my friends, I think what I do tell them right now is Aaron Wallace will change your life. It will get you the girls, and it'll inspire you with confidence. You leave your house, your bathroom feeling confident.